On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, I'm going to propose a 5-point answer to the question, why did EOS use Ethereum for their token distribution? All of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay right there. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I'm your host, Chris Coney, also the founder of Cryptoversity, the online school where you can learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. Find out more at cryptoversity.com. So today I have just one goal, and that is to explain why EOS running their token distribution on Ethereum was a perfectly legitimate decision. So quickly, for anyone who doesn't know, EOS is a smart contract platform that's in development, and it will compete directly against Ethereum when, say, a developer is deciding what platform to develop their decentralized application on. There are a number of options, and EOS and Ethereum are going to compete for that business, right? They obviously want people to use their platform so that it raises their token value and improves their technology. Now, this video is absolutely not a substitute for doing your own due diligence on the EOS project, nor is it a substitute for reading all of the terms and conditions of the EOS token sale for yourself if you were even thinking about participating. This is purely a philosophical and educational video for the purposes of our own intellectual enlightenment. So the video is also not designed to compare the two platforms against each other in terms of their technical superiority or anything like that. Today we are specifically going to address that one single question. Why did EOS choose to do their token distribution on the Ethereum network, and is that strange or suspicious? So let's start with the most obvious point. Why didn't EOS do their token distribution on their own platform? Well, that's an easy answer. EOS didn't do their token distribution on their own platform because EOS is still being built, right? You can't use a technology that doesn't exist yet, even if it's your own. So that's point number one. Nothing strange about that, right? Now, point number two. Isn't it strange for EOS to be using a competitor's platform to issue its tokens? Well, we've already established that EOS can't use their own platform before it exists, right? And if it's not okay to use a competitor's platform, what else could they have done? Well, they could have used another platform that allowed you to create your own custom tokens. I'm thinking BitShares is one of them. The Waves platform is another one. So why didn't EOS use either of those platforms to issue its tokens? Well, I think two reasons. A, those other platforms don't offer the same ability to create sophisticated smart contracts, which means EOS couldn't have automated their token distribution in the way that they've done. By creating 350 mini distribution periods like they've done with their own crowd sale. They probably could have done it with these other platforms, but it would have meant writing a lot of extra code to achieve it. And it doesn't make sense to waste that kind of a resource when there's the Ethereum toolkit sat there just waiting to be used. And B, when you're raising funds via a crowd sale, it's better to collect the funds in a currency with a high market cap and lots of liquidity. So given the hundreds of millions of dollars that EOS have raised, Ethereum is sufficiently capitalized to handle a big sell-off. Now, number three, people say that the EOS token that is being issued on the Ethereum network is useless, it doesn't do anything, and it has no functionality. Well, that's mostly correct. it's not designed to have any functionality. Its sole purpose is to keep a record of who contributed to the token sale, so those people can redeem the native EOS token when the network actually launches. EOS, unlike a lot of these other Ethereum tokens, isn't going to be an Ethereum-based app, right? It's just a token for a crowd sale. That's it. Now, this is no different than, say, if you created a token on BitShares or on the Waves platform, right? Those tokens don't really have any functionality beyond being in a record of who purchased them. And what rights that any of the holders have differ from one project to another. And when you hold EOS tokens on the Ethereum network, the intention is that you'll then use those to claim the real native EOS token when the EOS network finally launches. And this is exactly the same process that contributors to the Peer Plays crowdfund went through. You know, the first token sale for Peer Plays was conducted on the BitShares network. So contributors were issued with a temporary Peer Plays token that lived on the BitShares network. And now that the Peer Plays blockchain is actually launched for real, I have been able to unlock my real native Peer Plays tokens on the real Peer Plays blockchain using my temporary BitShares Peer Plays tokens, right? So my BitShares-based Peer Plays tokens have now served their purpose, so they're pretty much defunct. They're dead. Don't need them anymore, right? And this is pretty much how the EOS token distribution and claim process is intended to work, right? In fact, I already have the keys that I'll use with my real EOS account, and they were issued by the EOS token distribution app. So I've already got those, and they're linked to my Ethereum address that my Ether was donated from. Pretty good. Number 4, people say, it's still not right, though, to use a competitor's platform to build a business that aims to take out that same competitor, right? Right, okay, let's examine the principle at work here, and then we'll see if it makes sense. If we boil it down to the absolute bare principle, we find what? A new startup is using a future competitor's services to establish their new business. So let's say one day someone had an idea to start a company called, let's call them Lyft. You know Lyft? These guys are designed to be an app that competes with Uber, right? And then let's say the founder has literally just come up with the idea to start Lyft. And they start traveling all over town, maybe all over the country. And they're conducting meetings with the aim of getting their idea off the ground. And let's say while doing this, they take dozens of Uber rides. Well, that's perfectly okay, isn't it? I mean, the whole time, they're traveling around using a competitor's service, while at the same time starting a new business that aims to compete with them. Now, we wouldn't question that situation, would we? So why do we question it when EOS chooses to use Ethereum's token creation features? Now, of course, when the founder of Lyft actually launches the network, as soon as the network of cabs is established, well, they can start taking rides using their own service. But until then, they would be foolish to insist on paying higher prices for regular cab services purely out of pride. That kind of pride will not get you very far as an entrepreneur, let me tell you. All right, let's do one more story. Let's say I start a new cryptocurrency exchange and I use the services of a bank. Say I get a bank account. That's perfectly okay, isn't it? In fact, this is actually happening everywhere, right? And it's using the same principle, isn't it? A new startup is using the services of a competitor to establish their new business, right? Cryptocurrency exchanges are contributing to the demise of the old banking system. And in the meantime, using the services of the old banking system, right? So to insist, nope, I refuse to have a bank account, nope. I shall set up my cryptocurrency exchange using without using any services of a bank, right? Well, that business would fail pretty quickly. Pride cometh before the fall. Point number 5. People say, what are EOS doing with all of the ether they have raised? Well, I believe they've already started liquidating it, right? I've followed the daisy chain of transactions from the EOS crowd sale contract myself, and I've found numerous instances where tens of thousands, I mean like 50, 60,000 ether were transferred to Bitfinex. In fact, I have Etherscan open here as with an example of this. 4 hours ago, through this daisy chain, 2,000 ether was transferred to Bitfinex. And this happens quite regularly from what I've seen. So you can study it. You can go from the EOS crowd sale contract, watch the money go into the EOS owner account, and then flow out from there. It's all pretty transparent. And actually that Ethereum account is called Bitfinex Wallet 1. It has a publicly identifiable name. So it looks to me like EOS are using the Ethereum network to allow people from all around the world to send them the funds, and then they're turning that value back into dollars or some other form of currency, which further reinforces the fact that EOS are just using Ethereum as a tool to power their crowd sale because they saw it as the best tool for the job. So let's wrap up with a conclusion by recapping the 5 points. Number 1, EOS could not use their own platform for the token distribution because it doesn't exist yet. Number 2, EOS chose to conduct their token sale on Ethereum because it was the best tool for the job. Number 3, the EOS token that is being distributed on Ethereum is a temporary measure, and the intention is to convert it to the native EOS token when the EOS network finally launches. Number 4, it would be okay for the founder of an Uber competitor to take Uber rides while setting up their business, in the same way that it's okay for a cryptocurrency exchange to use the services of a bank, even though cryptocurrency is ultimately going to kill the bank's business. And number 5, based on what I've seen from the Ethereum blockchain, EOS don't wish to hold on to their ether, which makes sense since they believe Ethereum's long-term value is going to be eclipsed by EOS. But in the short term though, they see Ethereum as a great tool for a specific business purpose. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining me today. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my structured online courses that will teach you how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out cryptoversity.com. Alright guys, that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Cryptoverse Market Roundup and another edition of this news and commentary show. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney saying bye for now.